Okay, look, we're set up at the engine here to do a compression test. Now, the engine isn't quite as clean as I'd like because I couldn't get it out to pressure clean it, but it doesn't matter, we're pulling it apart. Now, to do a compression test, I have the battery charger on the engine, on the battery, and the battery turns it over all right, but I always like to put the compression tester or the battery on charge for doing a compression test. And I'll just zoom you in here a bit more. To do a compression test, and the idea is as you wind the tractor over, and you know you've got 4 cylinders to check over here, that it doesn't get slower and slower and slower as time goes. So you need to have a a consistent winding over. So I just like to put the battery charger on for this purpose. So I'll just go and get myself organised. Here's me with a handful of spanners, haven't got the first one I need. Bloody hard to get good help. Okay, I'm sort of half organised. Now, the compression tester I'm using, I'll just see if you can see this or not. Oops, sorry. Okay, the compression tester I'm using is a Sparex S26265. That wasn't sponsored, like I bought that. I've had it for a long time. That's the only diesel one I got since I sold my big workshop. I just have just what I need around here. So, okay, we have the injectors here, starting at the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've undone the injection or the leak off line to the back. So that comes from the top of your fuel filter over here. You can just see that. It goes to the back there. This fella here went up to the tank, I believe. So we need to get rid of that altogether. So a 7/16 spanner fits that. And they have little aluminium washers. Now you can use copper washers, it just doesn't matter. So we need to pop this top pipe off. Doesn't matter if we keep the washers or not at the moment. If you're a little concerned about losing those little banjo bolts, you can move this out like that and pop them back in there, and you're going to know where they are, hopefully. Let's have a look. Be good if I learned to screw bolts in. There we go. Bloody beautiful. Oh, there's another. Get in there. And that's just so I don't lose the bolts. And copper washers, you get new copper washers in a VRS kit or in the engine kit. I need 2 hands, I'm just hanging on with one, so just half doing the bloody job, Lance. Like I say, it is a bit dirtier than I'd like, but we're stripping the engine completely, so I'm not too fussed on it being dirty. It's not a real worry. So I have to undo all the injection pipes before you loosen anything else off, so the 5/8 spanner does that for you. I just like to loosen them all to start with. Back that one right off. Some of them fight you all the way, don't they? Seem to. Okay, so the injection pipe's off. Now, hey, there's the drop. 1/2-inch spanner fits the nuts. And I probably should have used a long socket here, but anyway, it doesn't matter. You use what you got. And you notice the big long nuts go inside towards the tappet cover. That's so with the tank and all on, you can still get to them and check them and things like that. So we'll put that up there. This little fella here, he's gonna, and see I can't fit my spanner in between the two there. Once upon a time I had a long socket welded on a T-bar for this job, but whoever knows whatever happened to that. And why am I doing number 3 first? I have no idea. It's just the one my spanner landed on. Can you see the injection pump? No, you can't quite. I'll just roll you down for a second. Okay, there's the injection pump. Now this is your stopper. Make sure your stopper is pulled right back, and your throttle, make sure that's pushed right back. Look at the slop in there. Make sure that's pushed right back out of the way. So we'll bring you back up here once more. Okay, I've got a little bar now under the, and that can come out. Now whether you want to keep these in the same hole or not, it's entirely up to you. On a good injector it shouldn't really matter. Somewhere in the video we'll pull this apart and do the nozzles. And there's a little seal around the injector here, and that just stops water and everything else going in. So the compression tester, it ends up dropping down in there, and it looks like I'm going to have to pop the injector lines off. So, all right, so now you've seen I'm pulling one injector out. I won't bore you with me taking the lot out. I'll cut away, and when you come back the injection pipes will be missing. I may even take this manifold off out of the way just to help with the pipes, and I'll pull the injectors out and I'll get ready to give her a crank and do this compression test and see what we have before we get serious. Okay, I'm not sure if I've showed you this or not, but the H piece or the bracket on the Sparex compression tester, to test with the rocker cover still on, it's too long out that front end there. So I actually rounded it off last time I was using it. So it seems to fit a lot better now, and they have like a fitting with an O-ring there, and there's a taper, and if you pull the injector out and the copper washer out, you can see where that actually seals down into the head. So you can turn this centerpiece, and look, I usually just turn it a little bit so there's enough room. Now for this job I actually use 2 of the long bolts. And look, no other reason than it's just easy to get the spanner onto, but we have to make sure they're down nice and even, and I probably should have a little socket for this, but anyway. And just make sure you get half a dozen threads up there just to help out. Try and keep it in the centre. You can sort of feel where it has to go, and you can just feel the tension coming down there, and we'll feel the tension as it straightens up there. Okay, let's hope that seals. I think it's sealing. I'll grab the gauge. Now a diesel engine, look, up around 400 is a reasonable thing for a diesel engine. So we can put that on there. If I can hold that there. Now I've got to press the button round the corner here and stay out of any oil that's going to shoot. So I'll just see how I go with that. Tractor's in neutral. Can you see that? Yep. What do we have? Nothing. I don't think that's sealing properly. I've got a bit of fuel leaking out the return here, but that doesn't matter. Okay, well that's not even making it to 200. So that's no, that's not real good. Number 1 might be the crook one, eh? So let's do the same here. We've got a little bit of fuel leaking out here. Now the fuel lift pump's probably got a little bit of fuel in it still. So if we screw that down a bit, if you remember, this tractor had just started missing, had blow-by, had all sorts of things, so we don't know what's wrong with it. We don't even need to do this job actually, I'm just doing it to show you. Bring him down again. Now, around 400 is good and within 10% of each other, so you can have 20-30 pound difference, and it's no big deal. I'll bring this down. Try and get this one down a bit. It just doesn't feel right. Okay, we'll try that. That feels like it's okay. Once again, can you see it? Just about. I'll see if I can see it too. Not even 100. Wonder if it's blown a head gasket between these two. Surely we've got one good cylinder here. That feels like it's in the centre. Yep. Okay. Looks like it's been sealing there okay. Okay, I'll bring this up just a bit. See how this one goes. See if I'm sealing down where I think I'm sealing. Oh, I can't see the camera and the thing at the same time. That's about 240. Gee, she's pretty crook. This thing still ran. You can see it's been sealing all the way. I've been marking it all the way anyway, so I'm supposing it's sealing. Okay, last one. We'll see how we go. Up over here. Can you see? Oh, I think you might be able to. That's got to be sealing. That's just under 200. So they're all they're all fairly well similar, but they're all hopeless. So it's one of this old girl run it all. And I've just got to check this again, make sure we're down sealing like we think we are. Something I'm going to try, and I'll get a bit of rag here. This is a copper washer that comes from around an injector. So I'll just try number 3 hole, pop him in. And I'd like to bring this down on top. And look, all I'm doing here is checking that we're sealing, but you can see around the tip there where it's been forcing the alloy up a little. So I'll try the alloy sealing on the copper just as a check to see if things are as we think they are. Yep, I just had a look in the box just to make sure everything was good. And I'll just do another run with a copper washer, and it's just as a way of me checking that things are okay. Okay, number 3 was 240, so we have the same pressure, so I believe our test is a good one. It's not a good one if you want to run an engine. So there you go. That's just running, that's just doing a compression test on our engine. Now, look, we've got about half the compression it should have had. Last time we ran it, we had to start it with a bit of ether, and it knocked and rang, and it really pressurised this crankcase here, and it had oil pouring out near the front crank seal and all sorts. So there's a lot of blow by. So that's all we need to do for the compression test. I just thought I'd show you that. We didn't need to do it because the motor is buggered, we know that. And but I just thought I'd run through it just to show you what we do. Okay, look, what we might do here, and I'm only going to do this one here that we know is what, 240 say. And I'm going to squirt a bit of oil down. Then if the oil picks the pressure way up, we know we've got worn rings, so that's an easy fix. You can see where that's jammed into the washer. So I'll just clean that up a bit. Squirt a bit of oil in. Bloody oil can didn't want to pick up on the... Doesn't want to pick up on the angle. bloody cheap shit thing. Whoa, that'll be just buckets. That's plenty. Whoop, so here I am hitting the bloody, kicking the camera. Okay, so this can pop down there again. I'm expecting worn rings, but it'll be interesting to see how much it picks the pressure up. Right, so that should be good enough, nice and firm. We'll pop the gauge on again, and so 400's up around here. We've got to try and get it where you can see it, and I can see it. You can see that, I believe. There's a bit of a leak in our system here. Well, it's probably leaking past the valves. Yeah, so I went to about 350, 320 in there somewhere. So it came around just up to not quite the 400, but say 350. But then the second time I hit the key, it only went to just a bit over 300. So that tells us the oil's gone. It was only a thin oil, so that's out of the way. So yeah, we know we got bottom end wear, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it's not holding pressure. So with worn rings like we believe we have, it doesn't want to hold pressure. It should probably hold up in here a bit better. This valve's probably leaking a little bit or something, but we won't worry. Okay, that's it. So we've done a dry compression test through here, and we've got about 200 to 240, give or take, and wet we've gone to about 340, 350 in there roughly on the first hit. So we know we got bottom end wear, or ring wear I should say, instead of bottom end wear. I'm probably using the wrong terminology. And yeah, look, that's okay. I only just did that to show you how to do it. There's no real need. We could have just probably got in and started ripping things apart, and it just doesn't matter. And there's that copper washer jammed on the bottom again, so that should come off. So that would have been sealing nicely, so we can be comfortable with that. Okay, there you go. We're going to leave it at that, and that's just how to compression test it. And you're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 to be within around 10% of each other. So at 400 you could go to 420 and down to 380 and still be good. And in compression, ours at 200 and 240 was this one, the highest one. Yeah, look, that's pretty average. But if you remember, oh, I'm not sure if I've showed you even, the air cleaner hadn't been done for years, and it had about 10 or 15, probably 10 millimetres of oil in the bottom. So there you go. We'll move on to getting the engine out, I think.